Gator Dave, welcome in, sir. How you doing this fine Wednesday evening?
I am a fine Mike, besides a cold that I'm still hanging on to from last week. But we're back at our regularly scheduled programming time of Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. So glad to be here, Mike. And I know there's a guy on the other side of the mic over there that is real happy to be here because his team's in the semifinals, baby.
Do you? We're
So,
alive,
hey,
Dave. We're alive.
I,
We're
you're
alive.
alive. Yeah, you were all worried. It was kind
Believe
of
it or
cool.
not.
We had got a couple of Ohio State fans at the office. You know what I did? Walked by them and went like this. Felt good,
Somebody,
felt
somebody,
good.
somebody clip that. Somebody
Hey,
clip that.
no, no. So it felt good. It was good. It was good. But a happy new year to everyone. We're Bet Utopia, your number one location for all things sports betting. Please like, subscribe, hit those buttons for us. Don't forget we're now on podcast on all your podcast outlets out there. It's Apple Podcast, Spotify, and all of the above. Live shows on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. We're back here on Wednesday nights. So next show will be next Wednesday, January 15th, to talk about the finals, the last two teams alive in the playoffs. So we shall see. We shall see. So, Mike, I thought I would start the show off tonight. Us folks that aren't lucky to be one of the four teams in the playoff. We got to have something to hang on to. You know, since we're not in the playoff, and it's portal season, Mike. We got another week and a half or so to go in portal season. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of craziness. We talked about before we got on the show tonight, folks. We talked about how crazy things are. How basically teams have to re-recruit their own players every single year, which is about damn crazy. But so that's what the portal's all about. Lots of folks jumping in. I thought I would go over first. I'm gonna go over the top 10 players that are in the portal, where they are, where they stand. So number one in the portal, and this is on three rankings. Cheers. On three rankings, we got Sam Levitt, quarterback from Arizona State. He visited LSU, Tennessee, and your boys there are in the mix for him as well, the Miami Hurricanes. So still don't know a lot about him yet, where it's going to be. Last
He's
night he
not.
was
He's not
with
coming to Miami.
he's not. All right. Well, you can count him off. So we'll
I
see.
don't.
We'll
I.
see where that goes.
I don't think he's going to be at Miami. Let me rephrase that.
All right.
I don't think he's going to
Okay.
end up there.
All right. Cool deal. Well, he was with Lane Kiffin at the ladies basketball game last night, and he's at Tennessee today. Number two,
Mm-hmm.
Cam Coleman, wide receiver from Auburn. The teams in the mix here are the money bags from the great state of Texas. We got Texas A&M and Texas are in the mix on that one. Number three, Chaz Coleman, edge from Penn State. We got Ohio State and Tennessee in the mix for him. Number four is Drew Mestamaker, the quarterback from North Texas. Guess what? He's following his coach to be a Cowboy at
Yep.
Oklahoma State.
You called
So
that one.
they're getting him. I did, and we got another one coming in a minute. But next is number six, Jacarius Peak, offensive tackle, North Carolina State. He's got visits going to A&M, Bama, Oregon, and Texas. All the money. Number seven, Brendan Sorsby, quarterback for Cincinnati. He has already signed. He is going to the great state
Big
of
check.
Texas, to them
Big check.
Texas Tech. Texas Tech, baby. Number eight, John Henry Daly, edge rusher, Utah, visiting Notre Dame, but He's going to see his old coach at Michigan, too. So my bet is on the Michigan Wolverines getting Mr. Daly. Number 9, Caleb Hawkins, running back, North Texas State. Yep, Mike, following that coach to Oklahoma State to be a Cowboy. And finally, number 10, Mateen Ebiraba, D-line, Wake Forest. He's going to the money, too. He's going to be a Texas Tech Red Raider as well. So the
Oil money.
big money, big money. But the hot news coming from yesterday evening is quarterback Desmond Williams from Washington. So he signed his NIL contract with Washington to stay 2 days ago. Now he wants to go in the portal, but guess what? Washington and the Big Ten is saying you're not going in the portal because you signed an NIL deal. So this one's going to blow up. Interesting scenario here is if you know anything about the portal, some guys go in the portal and they say, I'm going to be a no contact portal person, meaning they've already decided where they're going. Well, Mr. Williams is a no contact guy. So guess where the scuttlebutt is that he was maybe tampered with our boy Kiffin from LSU might have been tampering, but in the background there could be another team that maybe have tampered as well. We might find out later, but who
Uh,
knows? So
allegedly.
alleged,
Allegedly.
allegedly. So we'll see how all that transpires. This could be a huge case. You know, one of those cases that has a major ripple effect throughout college football. But we'll see how that goes. It'll probably get brushed under the rug just like everything else around there. So,
We
but
can
I
only
thought
hope.
I'd update a little bit of folks on the portal. I can tell you, my Gators are happy thus far with the portal and who the folks they've signed at this point. So if my folks are happy, I'm happy. We'll see how things go with Mr. Sumrall and the team later on. But that's what we've got. Mike, anything else you'd like to maybe talk about before we get to those semifinal games, sir?
No. I do think the transfer portal and the rankings are interesting though, because we talked a little bit about before the show started, kind of the level of the transfer portal right now. There's hundreds of names, that have flooded in there.
4,000. 4,000, Mike.
There you go. Um, so it's the grass isn't always greener. It's very rare that these guys transfer to a situation that's better than the one that they have, believe it or not, whether that's over playing time or, whatever else. I think that top 10, it's just interesting. That top 10 doesn't stand out. It's not, man, any of these guys past the top 5 maybe, are they really guys that you got to go out and write this big check for to go get to game change your program? I don't know. I'm not really too sure. You mentioned Miami and kind of going after these quarterbacks. The reason I say I don't think we're going to go after Levitt is because I think he's going to want too much money. And the thing with these teams, not to throw Florida State under the bus or throw shade or anything along those lines, but they've had 32 guys up to this point and counting leave to go to the transfer portal this season. It's hard to establish a culture, and this is sort of a kind of a reoccurring thing for them year in and year out under Mike Norvell. It's kind of a revolving door, sort of similar to what Deion's had to deal with at Colorado a little bit. It's hard to establish a culture when guys are in and out as frequently as they are. Um, it makes winning harder, and it also transpires into what we're seeing right now with these Final Four teams that we're about to talk about. College football, anything can happen in this NIL era. That it's a beautiful thing, I think. There does need to be a little bit of regulation. That Damon Williams issue that you're talking about with Washington, it may be sort of the tip of the iceberg. I was actually talking to our buddy Ian earlier about that today, and he mentioned that that case, if it turns into that, could be sort of the tip of the iceberg and sort of turn into maybe a sort of CBA type situation, salary cap situation in college to kind of try to start regulating this thing. But it'll be interesting how that plays out for sure. But
I mean, something's got to give. I mean,
yeah.
to have to redo your roster every single year is crazy. And
Well,
the
it's I
interesting
mean,
thing,
but well, it's great. Look, okay, so Jaden Rashada, right? We know that name very well. Okay, he is
he's
now also
he's in there
transferring
again.
from. He's in there again. This is his fifth time in the transfer portal. He's what, a junior? He hasn't even. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I get it. At a certain point, the problem is, for the same reason with the Washington quarterback, right? It's all money driven now. If you sign a contract, you're expected to follow through on that contract. You don't, there's a null and void issue. You mentioned it. I'll let you handle it because you explained it much better than I'll be able to with your quarterback or I'm sorry, your head coach and his stance towards this situation, how they should go about it. But you're right. I mean, something's got to change.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things Summerall talked about in an interview a couple of days ago was that maybe when a person or a football player leaves a particular team and goes to another team, maybe that team that is getting the new player should give up some money to that other team, kind of like what they do in English Premier League,
Yeah.
and those soccer, all the soccer leagues, most of the soccer leagues,
Even
international soccer leagues do it that way.
even
So
NFL, right? I mean, when the trades occur in NFL, sometimes the teams take on the contract or take
yeah,
on, to make it happen.
absolutely,
I think
absolutely,
you establish that, and I think it does change the role a little bit of how these schools go about the guys that they bring in. But I think
absolutely.
that, oh man, that's a tricky situation.
It
That's a
could
tricky
regulate it
situation.
some, and then maybe the fact that maybe it's not a 1 year, maybe it's a 2 year deal, whatever, and it doesn't have to occur every single year and roll
Yeah.
into that as well. But something's gonna break, and maybe
Well,
maybe it is.
or give them a count. Give them, you get two transfers, and
Yep,
anything after
yep,
that, you got to
yep,
apply for the eligibility. You get two
yep.
transfers after that. I mean, one every year, one every 6 months. It's too
It's
much.
crazy. It's
Something's
crazy, crazy.
something's got to change.
Yep. Hey, shout out to Hindu. Shout out to Scott and our loyal listener Evelyn on the show. But yeah, this thing's crazy. Hopefully things will change in the not too distant future, and maybe it is with this Desmond Williams thing. We'll see something change. You know, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So those are kind of the hot things happening right now for us folks that aren't in the playoffs. Players jumping in the portal, players signing with other teams, and we'll see how things transpire rolling into 2026. But we got two games to talk about, Mike. And the first one we got is Oregon and Indiana, Mike. So, and of course, both these spreads are exactly the same, just to screw with the bettors, to freak out people like us, and just to give us that hook that just
This
really
this
screws
entire
with us.
this entire thing is all a mind. You know what? It,
It
it
is. It's
is.
a
It,
mind F.
it's
It's a mind
yeah.
F. And so guess what? Indiana minus 3.5. Whoo, really? So over under 46.5. This one's played in Mike's favorite stadium, the Orange Bowl, at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida. Look forward to no?
Peach
Where?
Bowl. This one's Peach Bowl in
Oh,
Atlanta.
snap. You're right. You're absolutely right. Gosh dang it. It
You're
is the
good.
Peach
You're
Bowl.
just you're getting
I'm
excited.
a, I'm a game
That's
ahead.
next week's show.
I
That's next
am
week's
a
show,
game.
Dave.
Peach Bowl, Atlanta, Georgia. You're right about that one, Mike. That's Hard Rock's next week.
Hey,
All
you're
right.
good. You're excited. I am too. You
I
can feel
I,
it.
I
You
know
can
I
feel
am.
it.
I don't want to get ahead because we got to savor these last three games, Mike. Got to savor it like a fine wine. So, but so we
Cheers.
look at cheers, by the way. Yeah. Um so Oregon comes in this one 13-1. Indiana 14-0. Both teams from the Big Ten. Ducks only lost to Indiana on October 11th by 10 points. They beat Texas Tech last week 23-0. Ducks put up 309 yards, which isn't a lot, right? Because Texas Tech, that defense is for real. I mean, that was a very interesting game. And Texas Tech only had 215 yards of offense. Neither team could really run the ball at all. Dante Moore, however, when he passed, 80% passing percentage, which was kind of interesting. And it was like, had it not been for the turnovers in that game, I think it would have been like 3-0. You know, Moore's a great quarterback right now. They've got him like number 2 quarterback picked going into the NFL draft, over 3,000 yards. You know, they've got Noah Winningham as a running back. The issues with running back and the Ducks, they've lost Davison, their number 2 running back, to a clavicle injury, so he is not playing. Number 3 guy will play. Number 4 guys hit the portal, so they're a little light on the running back side at this point, which could have some effect on them. Indiana's only undefeated team right now. Obviously, they beat Ohio State, they beat Oregon, they beat Bama last week, 38-3. Bama's worst bowl loss in many, many years. Yeah, spanked it. Yep. I think I sent some interesting gifts out on that on our chat, Mike. But so the Hoosiers had 407 yards of offense. Bama had a Bama had 170 yards of total offense. Mendoza, he only threw for 88%, but he only threw for 192 yards on the day. Really, not much of that, you know. Um, Indiana 9 of 14 on third downs. Bama only had 23 yards of rushing. Oh snap, that's just crazy. Mendoza, obviously we know about him. He's a 3,000 yard. He's a 3,000 yard guy. Won the Heisman. They got 2 great. The last time these guys played on October 11th, they played at Indiana. The score was 30-20. Obviously, the Hoosiers won that one, 20-30.
At Oregon.
They played at Oregon. All right. So when you look at the yard comparison, it wasn't too far off. 326 for 326 for Indiana, 267 for Oregon. Oregon had 2 turnovers. Indiana had 1. On this game, I don't know. It's a tough call. I think you could coin toss just about everything here. And one thing that Mike and I are going to do on these 2 games is we're going to give you our team that we think is going to deal with the spread, and we're also going to give our over/under on the game. So I am now drinking the Signetti Kool-Aid. Um, they whooped Bama's ass. I mean, it wasn't even close. I think in this particular game that I know the Oregon's playing well and it could go either way, but man, my gut's telling me that the Hoosiers going to win by 7. So I'm going to take the Hoosiers to cover the 3.5. And I'm really going out on a limb and saying I think some points are going to be scored in this one, and I think they're going to go over the 46.5. So I know I'm going against most folks are thinking these games are going to go under, but man, in times of the past, I see these games, they get fired up and yeah, they've got great defenses, but I think the offenses show up and they want to show out. So I'm going over in this one, Mike. What do you think?
Okay, these are probably the hardest games to call all year.
All
You
year?
wouldn't
The
think it.
last,
I mean,
it's
you
got to
wouldn't think
be.
it, but oh my
It's got to
gosh,
be.
it's insane. We talked about it pre-show. You could make an argument any way that you wanted to for any side that you wanted to in either one of these two games. These games are going to be fantastic. I am ecstatic that we got the final four that we did for one obvious major reason, but for the other reason of Oregon Indiana, this matchup, neither team has ever won a college football championship. Indiana has had one of the longest football programs in the history of college football and has never won anything close to this whatsoever, anything of significance. They have not been relevant in college football ever before Kurt Signetti got there last year. The turnaround that they've had is absolutely unbelievable, to be completely honest. It's absolutely tremendous. I know for one, I at least at the beginning of the year when we were talking the preview, I did not have Indiana doing this. I did not think that they would be able to duplicate what they did last year. But I think the reason that they did is because they had a weak schedule, Gator Dave. Weak schedule. They didn't play anybody. Okay? Now, when they did play somebody, they were able to win. I'm sorry, Evelyn. I'm gonna say this right now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're not gonna love how this is about to go. When Indiana played Oregon the first time, Indiana had six, or I'm sorry, yeah, Indiana had 6 sacks against that Oregon offensive line. You know how many sacks Oregon's offensive line gave up in the other 11 games that they've had this year, Dave? 8. Just 8 sacks out of the 11 other games other than against Indiana.
Can't
Oregon, Dante
replicate that.
Moore, at home, also threw 2 interceptions in that game. It did not go Oregon's way. Pretty much everything went wrong, but still, it was a 20 to 13 game going into the fourth quarter. Oregon in that game had those 2 turnovers. Indiana did have one, and it was a big one. Mendoza threw a pick six. Oregon was not able to run the football in that game. They only had 80 yards. They bank heavily on the run game. You mentioned Davison not being there. That is an issue for me. I think ultimately this is going to be a low scoring classic Big Ten game. I'm going to go with the under 47.5. I teetered back and forth with the over because both of these teams have the offensive ability to put up 30 points each at any time that they want to. But I think the issue is going to be the defense. And the reason that I'm going with the under is just that. It's hard. I've really struggled with going again. You can kind of justify it either way. Same with Indiana, same with Oregon. The reason ultimately that I am going to go Oregon plus the 3.5 is because one, I think this game has a really good shot of going to overtime. As a little side, prop if you get a little spicy. I think this is a game that comes down to special teams. I think Oregon has the better kicker. I think Oregon has the better special teams. Oregon is more conditioned for live by the sword, die by the sword football. They go for fourth downs 4+ times a game and convert, damn near 50%. So they want to push the football, but it also goes the other way, damn near 50%. So it's just tough. But the reason I'm going Oregon again is because this is the second time these two teams have played. It's very, very hard for a team to beat another team a second time. it's I if a team was going to do it, having said that, it's going to be this Indiana team. I mean, they are on a clear path. It's a team full of misfits. It's I mean, how can you not love the story of where they have been and where they are now and kind of bringing the people that they have together in such a short time? It's unheard of. It is unheard of. Maybe you turn around and you get one good year, but to have these two consistent good years in a row and to build on that as a program, it's incredible. I, I, I don't even like it. I don't even like it saying it. I'm sorry. I know. I know. Again, this is like throwing darts at a wall, especially this game. This game is going to go either way, but I think it's going to be a field goal type of game. I think it could go to overtime, and that's why I'm going to take the +3.5 because I think that kicker may come in handy. It's just tough. It's going to be a fantastic game. Fantastic game. Evelyn, I wish you the best. I hope that Indiana gets the win and Oregon gets the cover. Um, we can still both win, Evelyn. I got you. I got you. But give me the Ducks to go down in Atlanta and punch their ticket down to Miami for their second trip to Miami this playoff run, as well as
So
the under
Mike, you
47 and
know
a
what
half.
I'm thinking here? I'm really feeling another run here. I'm thinking that this game is not going to be. It's not going to be a 3 point game. It's not going to be a 7 point game. I think it's going to be a 4, 5, or 6 point game, Mike. That's where this one's going to be. It's going to be one of those odd games where something gets a little sideways and we can't go with the old status quo with 3-7. So that's why I'm feeling even better now, Mike, about my Hoosiers and 3.5 because it's going to be a 4, 5, or 6 point win for my team. So, and Evelyn's team. Let's go, Evelyn.
God, I'm
Yeah.
really even the total. I'm just even my head is going. They
46. I
could
mean,
both
what,
score
what,
point.
what?
Yeah, it's.
It's like these
I'm trusting the
offenses
gut.
can
I'm
score
trusting the gut.
freaking
I'm
30,
trusting the gut.
40
Give me the
points,
under.
man. I'm
Yeah, it could
feeling
go
this
either
one.
way.
Feeling it
It's
all the way.
yeah. We'll see.
All right.
It's gonna be a good one.
It is going to be a good one. All right. We got Mike's game next. We got Miami.
Oh boy.
Uh, 3.5 point favorites just to screw with us against the Ole Miss Rebels over and under 51.5 in the Fiesta Bowl in Glendale, Arizona. So Miami is 12-2. Ole Miss 13-1. The Canes, they lost it. We talked about it. They lost on October 17th to Louisville, SMU on November 1st. Um, in that game with Miami and Ohio State. Miami had 291 yards of offense. Ohio State 332. Buckeyes had only 45 yards of rushing. So Mr. Lacey might have a problem in this game with that D line from Miami. Canes had a balanced attack on offense, on the running and passing. Buckeyes had 2 interceptions. Miami had one fumble loss, so it was -1 for the Buckeyes in that one. We know Beck over 3,000 yards, another 3,000-yard passer, another guy over 70%. He's at 75. Fletcher tears it up on the ground. So the Rebels' only loss was to Georgia on October 18th. They've beaten Oklahoma. And last weekend, they obviously beat the Bulldogs at their second chance in a barn burner, 39-34. The Rebs were able to put up 473 yards to the Dogs, 343. Chambliss, 65%, 362 yards passing. Third down efficiency, Ole Miss was 5 of 14. Not all that great. Chambliss, we know he's put up over 3,000 yards we've seen consistency with these quarterbacks, right? All of them over 3,000, right? Um, he's also run for over 500, and Lacey's got 1,400 yards. Canes are going to need to rely on that defense without a doubt. Because we know Chambliss can get around back there. Rebels did pretty good against the Georgia defense last week. I mean, when I look at this one, I mean, Chambliss looked like, I mean, he looked like Patrick Mahomes last week against a good Georgia defense. But I think he can have success, but I don't, I think it's a little flukish. I mean, guys don't have, it's hard to put two games together back to back like that. Granted, he's done well throughout the year, but man, that was one of the best games ever. I mean, Tebow was talking about on the sidelines. I mean, it was incredible. It's going to be tough to do that again. I think they will have success. I think they can put up points against Miami because this is one of the best offenses to me in all of college football. And with this 1-2 punch of Chambliss and Lacey, it's a big deal. They've got great receivers out there, so I think they can put up points. But I think when it comes down, if I'm picking a team that's going to win the game, I think the trenches on both sides for Miami being offense and defense is going to be enough for them to win the game. Again, by 4, 5, or 6 points. But I also think that this one's going to get some scoring because I think that Miami's going to score more than they have as of late with the tougher teams because I don't have as much confidence in the Rebel defense. So I think they can score some points, but at the same time, I think Ole Miss can score a shit ton of points on just about anybody. So I'm again going the over on this one. Feel a little bit more confident about my over on this one because that's kind of where I was going to go in the very beginning. But I'm going to go with Miami to cover the 3.5, and this one to go over 51.5, Mike.
I
And
love it. I love your.
by the way, Public House, tell Marshall I said hi too. All right, sorry, buddy. Got to talk to the
Shout out
grandson.
to Marshall. Shout out to
That's
Marshall.
right.
We appreciate you watching, dude. All right, yeah. So I love your spread pick for obvious reasons.
Well, of
I
course
too,
you do.
believe it or not, folks, I'm going to save you the suspense. I as well am on Miami -3.5. But let me tell you why. You mentioned Trinidad Chambliss. He did look fantastic last week against Georgia. And Evelyn, yes, Georgia, they should have won that. They had one job. They were looking ahead to Carson Beck. They were licking their lips, barking away, and couldn't get it done. Couldn't get there. And now you're looking at Ole Miss, who has a chip on their shoulder still. I don't know if they do anymore, Dave. I don't know if they do anymore. They've won. They
Come on,
beat get
man.
Tulane. Come on. All right. So listen,
Come on,
they
man.
beat a Tulane team that they had already beaten this year. Okay. Then they went and played uh, the game that they did. Granted, they beat Georgia, a team that they had already played. Tough to beat a team twice. And if we're going to be really honest, Kirby Smart blew that game for Georgia. If we want to go there really quickly, Georgia was down 3 points, and they're on their own 30-yard line with 6 minutes left, and he decides to go for it on fourth down, doesn't get it. 2 plays later, Ole Miss scores a touchdown, goes up by 10. That's the game right there. Kirby Smart, I understand it's a live by the sword, die by the sword situation, and he tends to do that and take those risks, and it usually works out. So he looks like a genius. That lost Georgia that game. Um, just on that quick note there. I think Ole Miss. I think Georgia lost that game more than Ole Miss won it. I think Ole Miss had a lot of heroic plays. You mentioned Chambliss looking like Patrick Mahomes back there when he was dodging the DNs and whatnot. That's going to be tough to replicate a second time against this Miami defense. I think Miami's going to game plan for that. The ability of our front four, especially the two guys on the outside with Mesidor and Bain, to get by the tackles and get pressure on the quarterback, I think is going to be able to set the tone because we don't have to rush, 5, 6 guys at any given time. We can sit some guys back, and the ability of our linebackers in our secondary, if they coach for that and they know that he's going to scramble and try to find an outlet, as long as we stay home, that's an interception all day long. That's a defensive stop all day long. That's a sack for a 20-yard loss all day long. So I understand where you're coming from in terms of over and the points. It does worry me a little bit, this Ole Miss offense, because of how fast their tempo is. It's similar to Oregon. It's very up pace. They want to get as many plays in as they go. They want to make the defense tired, and that part does worry me a little bit. But I think Miami's ability to get off the field is going to be the difference in this one. I think it's going to be low scoring. I don't think Miami is going to, put up 30 on this Ole Miss defense. I'd be shocked. But I think this is another situation with these two games in this last championship game. These are championship rounds. You are going to see the most physical football that you have roughly all season long. These guys are 2 games away from history icing themselves as one of the teams to get it done ever. They're going to lay it all out on the line. And for that reason, that's also why I'm tending to go with the under in these games, because it is going to be so physical. It's going to be a lot of, these kids are 18 years old. For example, the kid at Miami, number 10, Malachi Tony, he's 17. He should still be a senior in high school right now. And he is leading this team. He was freshman player of the year for the ACC, freshman All-American. 17 years old. And it's mental. It's mental more than anything with these guys. They're scared to make mistakes. And I think whatever team is coming in the most prepared and the most, I guess, the loosest, not so tense, not so worried so much about the moment and what it brings, that's who we're going to get, and that's who's going to win. And that's why these 2 games are so tough to call, because I think we're going to get that from all 4 teams. They're all going to come in loose. They're all going to come in kind of with nothing to lose, right? They're playing with house money. Nobody expected Miami. Well, I guess some people did. I didn't. Miami to get this far. Nobody expected Ole Miss to potentially make it this far, especially after the Lane Kiffin debacle and everything else. Indiana, you could argue, yeah, they were a top seed or whatever. But again, this is the first time. Were they going to duplicate it? Oregon, they had a decently tough schedule. It's going to be a fantastic Final Four. I'm going to go, having said all that, give me the Hurricanes minus the 3.5. I'm going to go with the under 52.5. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. But again, either way, the totals specifically, are very, very, very tough to call, because again, you could sort of make an argument for any which way you wanted to. I think it's going to be the under. I just don't see Ole Miss being able to put up 30 points against this Miami defense. I don't see Miami's defense, going down and getting the explosive plays that they want. It's going to be a lot of running the football, a lot of possession play, a lot of keeping the ball in their hands rather than giving it to Ole Miss's, explosive offense. So that's why I'm going to go with the under here, Dave. It's going to be fantastic though. I cannot wait. Super
It is
super nervous.
amazing. It's going to be amazing. I'm sure you are nervous, Mike. It's your team, boys. So I'm going to give you a little side bet as I listen to you, Mike, because I think you make a good point when you talk about the defensive line with Mesidor and your other monster there. I will
Yep.
give you a nice little side bet on Mr. Um, Chambliss to go over 50 yards of rushing in this game, because he's going to have to a little bit more than he has in the past. So to give you guys an idea, he rushed for 14 against UGA, 36 against Tulane, 26 against Mississippi State. He only rushed for 10 yards against us. And then you go back to some of the other teams, he was rushing a little bit more than he did, ran for a little bit more than he did. But I'm going to bet you that that's a nice little side bet
Mm.
to bet for Mr. Chambliss to go over 50 yards rushing in this game. So, little tidbit of information. So, I mean, gosh, man, these games are going to be so exciting. Look forward to them. You don't think he's going to do it, but I will. I'll take that bet, Mike. And if I could only bet here in the state of Georgia, I would, but I can't. So to drive down to Florida or up to Tennessee to make a bet like that, but Dave's not driving. So that's where it's going to be, Mike. So granted, I'll give you your team winning, but this one's going over 51 and a half. All right. So that's a wrap on the two games, folks. They are very exciting. We're excited. Mike's super excited, and we appreciate everyone that's been on. Appreciate all the folks that have been in the chat with us tonight. We got 6 going on there right now. Thank you so much for being on. And we're going to be on next week, talk about that last game. Maybe we'll have some other topics to discuss because, man, crazy things happen in college football each and every week. And obviously with all this crazy portal stuff, there's going to be some stuff going on. So, Mike, what do you think?
I think they need to fix this scheduling. What are we doing with the semifinal being on a Thursday night? What's going on?
Yeah, that is messed up.
What are we doing
They're
college
probably
football?
they're scared of the NFL. Is all it is. They're scared.
Whatever. It's terrible. It's awful. Put it to Friday. Put it to Saturday. Let's get it back to where people can actually enjoy it, watch it, do a little house party. You know, I'm speaking for myself in particular in this situation. I'm not used to it, but it would be nice. You know what I'm saying? Come on, college
Thursday
football, get it
night.
right. Get it
Tomorrow
right.
night we got a game, Mike.
Get it
Goodness.
right. Definitely check out shopcya.com if you haven't already. Thank you for Evelyn for the reminder. Make sure to get those assets covered. Like Dave said, thanks everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe down here below if you have not already. Podcast people, go ahead and give us that 5-star rating on podcast. Give us that follow as well. And make sure you don't miss anything. Like Dave said, we'll be back next Wednesday talking the championship game. So look forward to that. Go Canes. Hopefully we get it done. Fingers
Good
crossed. It's
luck.
going to be a good one. Good luck to Evelyn in Indiana as well. If we had any Ducks fans or, Ole Miss, maybe we'd wish y'all luck too. But you got to pop in the chat to get some love. Appreciate again everybody for watching, and good luck this week.